Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. In this video, I am going to explain how you can integrate your Jenkins master with your Kubernetes cluster. Let us assume your Jenkins master is going to be on your Windows machine and Kubernetes cluster is going to be on the Ubuntu machine. Okay, before why do we need this model? Let us talk about the problem statement. In the traditional model, if you see here, your Jenkins master is also on the virtual machine, same as like your Jenkins agent. If you wanted to increase the number of executors in Jenkins, you need to create multiple agents. For in this example, I have given 1, 2. You need to create likewise the multiple one. So, which is an tedious thing. In order to avoid such scenario, you can go with the hybrid model. Your Kubernetes cluster will help you to create multiple agents during the runtime. Let us see into an action. For easy to understand, I put all these steps in the sequential order. Please follow these steps in the same order that is given in this document. In step 1, please make sure that you have the JDK 11 installed as part of prerequisite, and then go and install your Jenkins. Once your Jenkins is installed, in step 2, you need to log on inside your Jenkins and then go to your manage plugin and download your Kubernetes plugin. In step 3, go to your cluster, Kubernetes cluster, create your namespace and service account. In this example, I am going to create your namespace and service account as Jenkins. Now you will be having your namespace and service account. For that, you need to create a token. When you create a token, you will be getting an output. That output, please store it somewhere in the notepad, which you need to apply later in the step 4. Now the namespace and service account what you have created, that needs to assign to some specific role inside the Kubernetes cluster. So for my demo, I am going to assign it to admin role. So in step 4, you need to go and configure your Kubernetes plugin and need to apply the token which you got generated in step 4. Okay, once all your configuration is complete, you need to go and test your connection. If the test connection is successful, that means you could successfully integrated with your Jenkins with your Kubernetes cluster. With that, all your configuration is complete. Now create a new Jenkins job and write your pipeline. When you run your pipeline job as part of step 7, it basically will create a dynamic agent, and you can monitor those agents as pods in the Kubernetes cluster. Upon successful completion of your Jenkins job, the pod which got created in the Kubernetes cluster will also get terminated and destroyed. Let us see all these 7 steps in the demo. Let us do the installation. So we are proceeding with step 1, where we are installing Jenkins. Give next. Test port. Yeah, this was the step which I was telling earlier. You need to have a JDK installation dependency with your Jenkins. So you need to either have 11 or JDK 17 or 21. Do next, install. I will pause this video so that Jenkins can get installed in the meantime. Okay. So now you can see that Jenkins is installed successfully. So for the first time, you need to get the password. So go back to this directory. And open this in your notepad. Copy this. Okay. So basically your notepad something will be given here. You need to copy and apply over the text field and give continue. So go and do a install suggested plugin. I'm going to pause this video. Let the installation proceed. Now installation is completed. I'm going to give my details here. Cube user. Continue. Okay, here you need to give your IP. In my case, my IP is 192.168.86.23. Okay, let me confirm this. Start using Jenkins. Okay, I'm going to confirm whether the IP is correct. Okay, it's correct. So I'm going to give my cube user. You can give any username you like. I'm just, for the sake of this demo, I use the random name called cube user. Okay. Okay, now with this we have completed our step 1. And in step 2, we need to download the Kubernetes plugin. Let us go back. I'm going to manage Jenkins. Go to plugins. Go to available plugin. Search for Kubernetes. Select this, install. So if you see that, it will also install some of the dependent plugin. So wait for some time, it will get installed shortly. Okay, now everything is successful. Now go back to our presentation. Now we are at the step 3. So now I'm going to Kubernetes cluster. This is my Kubernetes cluster. Let me expand this a little bit. So now I need to create a namespace. So for the sake of this video, I already have some of the commands already stored in my personal computer. Let me take it. Kubectl create namespace Jenkins. I have Kubectl get. NS is a short name for namespace. You can see that Jenkins is get created a few seconds back. Now I need to create a service account. Kubectl create SA. SA is a short name for service account. Jenkins -n. I'm going to create a service account called Jenkins under the namespace called Jenkins. Okay, Kubectl. Okay, now I have created a namespace and also I have created service account. So now go back to your presentation. The next step is the token creation. So for you to create a token, so there is one thing that you need to understand for the token creation. Okay, my computer is very slow. Let me pause for a while. It's very slow. Okay, there is some network disconnect. So let me log in back. Cube user. Okay, so I logged in back. So now we have created a namespace and service. Going back to your PPT. So next step is the token creation. So there is one thing you need to know, the the reason for the token creation. So this is a command for to create a token. If you see here, if you don't pass this parameter hyphen duration, that means that I'm creating this token for 10 years. So in Kubernetes, there is nothing called never expire token. So if you don't pass any parameter, the token will expire for every 1 hour. That means you need to recreate a token, a newly created token that has to be every time you need to generate and store it in Jenkins. So for the demo purpose, give some random number like 1,000 hours or 100 hours. Just don't execute this. So now this is the one I was telling earlier. What you need to copy this and put it in somewhere in your notepad. Okay, now next step is to do the role binding. So don't worry, I just put all these command in my description, so you can just follow along. When you're watching this video, you can see these commands will be in my description. Okay, so now you have created your namespace, you have created your service account, and then you have created your token, and you generated the token and you stored somewhere in your notepad. And now you applied, see, okay, looking at your command, you are telling that the namespace Jenkins and then the service account Jenkins, you are applying to that role called admin. So yeah, you are basically applying your service account and your namespace to your cluster role called admin role. Okay, so now you completed the step 3. Now go back to Jenkins. Okay, go to manage plugin, and if you go here manage plugin, under nodes, go to cloud. You have to create a new cloud, select this Kubernetes. So this can be any name, okay, but later on when you write a pipeline, this should match whatever the pipeline you develop, that should match with your pipeline, which I will show you in a little bit. Click create, click this, and then okay, there is you need to find your kubectl config view. Okay, you are finding out what is your URL for your Kubernetes cluster. Just copy this and put it over here, and then you already copied your token, right? So that token I just stored in this notepad. I'm going to copy this, I'm going to store it in the token here. I'll show where it is. Now going to your credential, there is nothing. So go and click add, click Jenkins. You can see multiple way to authenticate between your Jenkins and Kubernetes. I'm going to use secret text. I already tried secret file. Yeah, I tried earlier secret file. Now I'm going to try with secret text. I already tried it. It was working good. Just letting you know. This should work. So you can give any name. Let's give Jenkins secret. Okay, it can be any name. So you can say that Jenkins secret. You add, and then click Jenkins secret, and the namespace what you have created earlier, that is Jenkins. So type it the same here. So I think pretty much we have done everything. Test your connection. Okay, you see there is an error. The certification, because here this is my local, but in the real time in the production you need to take the certificate file and then you need to upload that as well. For now, for the demo purpose, I simply go and disable HTTPS certificate check. Now go and do a test connection. Yeah, it says that it's connected to Kubernetes 1.2.6. This is the Kubernetes cluster version that I have it in my Ubuntu server. Okay, so go and select this WebSocket and then type this, copy this and put over here. Okay, that's it. You pretty much done all your configuration. Going back to your PPT, you completed till step 5. Now going back to step 6. Go back to dashboard, new item, test pipeline. It is already there. I'll use that pipeline. Click OK. So I'm going to copy what I have already have. I'm going to reuse it here. Apply and save. Okay, now I'm going to monitor. I'm going to run this Jenkins job. Before that, I'm going to do wash any parts that is going to get created in the namespace Jenkins. Let me do that. Watch kubectl get parts hyphen Jenkins. Okay, right now you don't see any of, there is no resources or no Jenkins part in that particular namespace. I'm going to run now. Okay, let me click this. Yeah, it says that started by the user and says, okay, see here. So I can see that there is a new Jenkins part get created, and if you look at here, this is the same. The pod and then agent, it's same. Okay, now you can see that it is just created and then terminating. As soon as the Jenkins job is completed, the pod whatever that got created will get terminated as well. So the advantage is that it won't utilize the resources. As soon as the job get completed, the container, whatever that pod that is running on the Kubernetes cluster, will also get destroyed. So that means in the real time, it should be use the Kubernetes cloud cluster, where you can save some money as part of doing this exercise. And then you can multiple, you know very well that Kubernetes advantage is that you can do auto scaling, and by increasing the number of pods. When you increase the number of pods here, that means that you are increasing the number of executors in Jenkins. That means you can run multiple agents get created as part of running your job. Okay, I hope you understand how you integrate your Jenkins with your Kubernetes cluster. But I wanted to tell few things before we say complete. So going back to the initial one. So this is like this is what we have done as part of this hybrid model. We have just did a demo, but I'll be doing a similar thing in the right now in the hybrid model. Your Jenkins master is in the VM, but later on we will be like doing this in the cloud. I mean the Kubernetes. That means your agent and also your Jenkins master, everything will be running in the Kubernetes cluster. which I'll be doing that shortly, little bit later, probably in this week. Please keep watching my video. If you like it, please subscribe it. Thank you for watching. Bye.